All right, everybody, we're doing it again. Welcome, new listeners. Welcome, old listeners. Welcome to those who found us over COVID. We hope you're recovering well. And I have a special announcement to make that I just remembered right
Yes.
now.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes. I think it starts with your show.
I, along with my wife, am going to be at various places in the United States. Like, God,
You sound exhausted already.
I'm so just the
Yeah,
touring
where are
and
you
the
gonna be?
touring. Irvine, May 15th,
I just want
Chicago,
to be
June
home.
Chicago, June 14th, St. Louis, June 27th, Atlanta, July 7th, London are already sold out, but I won't be there. So maybe that's why they sold out. Anyway, Irvine, May 15th, Chicago, June 14th, St. Louis, June 27th, Atlanta, July 7th. Thank you, everybody. Tickets in the description.
You're not welcome back in London anymore.
Nope. Not after last time.
Not after I trespassed on the Taskmaster set.
There is the new
Damn,
Taskmaster
dude.
season, by the way, and Jason Mantzoukas is in it.
Oh, I love that guy.
Joe,
Oh, go ahead.
did you watch Andor? Sorry, I didn't know we were.
I haven't yet. I know I need to watch it.
You haven't watched any of it.
No.
Okay.
I've been Black Mirror
Sorry.
in it. I've been found Taskmaster again.
There's
Been
so many shows.
Yep.
I did the math. My girlfriend and I are currently watching 8 TV shows.
Oh my gosh. You want to rattle them off?
Yes. Ready?
Yes. Do it.
Righteous Gemstones,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
The Rehearsal,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
The Studio,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Black Mirror,
Uh-huh.
Andor,
Uh-huh. And or still is funny to me.
I know it is. It really is great.
What We Do in the Shadows, because I still haven't finished that. What We Do in the Shadows.
He's at 6. He's got 2 more to remember. Last of Us.
Last of Us. Thank you. And then
Why would you watch it when? Okay.
you stop it. Listen, for those of us that have played the
Whoa,
game, we're just
lesbians?
reopening.
Whoa.
For those of us, and there are few, there are many.
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. For those of us that have played those games, the trauma has reopened on the television show. Because this is trauma that we all had years ago, and it really shook the video game world.
Yeah, it pretty much was the same thing. Lesbians?
Yeah. Oh, I know what the 8th one is. Common Side Effects.
Common side effects. Yeah.
We
Is that
still haven't
still on?
finished it. We haven't finished it. We
So
just haven't finished it.
based on these entries, Steve, I'm going to. So you have Righteous Gemstones, Rehearsal, Studio, Black Mirror, Andor, What We Do in the Shadows, Last of Us, and Common Side Effects. I'm going to guess you're a Gemini.
Damn, here's $200.
Thank you.
Venmo that right over. Yeah.
Yeah, too many shows, man. It's just too many shows. And the thing is like my girlfriend's work schedule is very hectic. It's just constant work, sometimes on the weekend too. And I am not allowed to continue on and watch. But I have
trouble.
Dude, I can't. I'm losing my mind because I'll have an hour for lunch and I'll be like, I just want to watch a fucking Studio. I just want to watch a fucking Rehearsal. Like, what's going on here?
So how many times have you secretly watched something?
You know what, man? That was a young Steve's game. And I find that I get more joy out of watching it going in blind with the people I love than being like, I know what's gonna happen.
Wow, somebody's grown.
That's right. I grew up a little bit.
Maybe
During
this is the
COVID.
program with the lesbians.
Dude, I actually dug a little bit into the like Last of Us TV show discourse, and it's really gross.
It is,
And,
yeah. When you I'll stumble on like the threads on Twitter sometimes, and it's
Yeah.
like, wow, people just are pretty terrible.
People don't like Bella. Is her name
Ramsey?
Bella Ramsey. I was gonna say Bella Thorne. Well, that's another one. That's a different one.
Too
People
many
don't like
Bellas. You know what I'm saying? Just too
Hadid.
many Bellas.
So I started to think about like so people don't like Bella Thorne and as Ellie and
You mean
Bella
Ramsey?
Ramsey.
Bella Thorne is Ramsey.
Uh,
People don't like Bella Ramsey as Ellie because they're like she doesn't look like exactly like the computer girl they made. And I'm like, what? Why does anybody give a shit? And then I realized that there is endless pornographic imagery based off of the video game version of the Ellie character.
ew.
Endless. And it's
Ew.
like a whole thing for some fucking reason. And I think people want to do that with the TV show version of that character too, and they're finding it difficult.
But where do you find the time to do that when you're fantasizing about Joel so much?
That's
Like, I
what
don't
I'm saying.
understand. You
I
know?
That's
didn't
what I'm
know
saying.
he was considered so attractive. So like we were out talking to someone and Grace was like, "Geez, yeah." Like I was like,
Every
"Wow."
woman,
I was
every
like, "Really?"
woman.
And like I thought he has maybe one of those like so odd looking faces it's attractive, which I guess that's part of it nowadays. But like apparently he is considered absolutely beautiful.
Not only does he just look like a statue person, his features are so chiseled and statuesque. He's also got that silver fox thing going, which a lot of people find attractive, and I get it. You got age, you got wisdom at that. People want a daddy, and then he's very daddy.
He's very publicly supportive of many things.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't give a shit.
He's an ally, and he's an aggressively outspoken ally.
Yeah, doesn't give a crap.
No,
I feel like he's
yeah.
I feel like he's kind of taken over the spot that was held by like John Hamm back in the day.
Yeah, and then John
Yeah.
Hamm did some sus shit.
Dude,
What a
have you read some of
backer
the
in the
John
day.
Hamm stuff?
I know really, but
Oh
I
my
know that I know
God.
that he's like he's not a good boy.
No, that's bad stuff. Like bad.
The
Like
hazing
bad.
stuff, right? Like the college
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Like definitely not like beyond like like I won't describe it, but I
You're
read
telling
enough
me
that
a
I was like, I never want to hear.
handsome man that was in a fraternity did some sus shit in their college days? Excuse
know.
me? I'm not ready for this kind of a shock this early in the
I know.
morning.
All right, podcast over.
I can't be this shocked. There's someone else that's a Pedro Pascal everybody loves.
They called him Pedo Pascal in college.
Oh shit. Damn, dude, that got me worked up. There's some other person that's like a Oh, is it Oscar Isaac? Oscar
Yeah.
Isaac is also like a sex symbol and has like kind of like a Pedro Pascal sexuality exuding from him.
Yep. Yes, he does.
And I actually wanted to say really quick that we're like like maybe 10 minutes in and you guys haven't wished me a happy Star Wars Day yet?
Oh, you're on the wrong podcast.
No, I'm not.
No, you're on the wrong
No,
podcast.
I'm not, because Mike Falzone will never fucking wish me a happy Star Wars Day. So some podcast I'm on has to have friends that
Mike,
know that I'm a big
Mike,
Star
is it
Wars
cool
nerd.
if I say it to Steve on this podcast, Mike?
What is
Yeah.
Mike why is Mike at your place at
Yeah, Mike said it's cool.
9:40?
Happy May 4th.
Such a Gemini move.
What's Mike doing over there
I
at
don't think
9
you need to
a.m. on a
worry about
Sunday?
it. I don't think you need to worry about it. No, we're gonna call it dynamic ger.
Dynamic.
Yeah,
Write it down.
write it down. We'll use the same font and just like scribble in an ER. Yeah.
Why not just more dynamic banter?
No.
Just don't worry about it. Mind your own
That's
shit.
not really your concern, is it?
I just want to see you succeed, and I think the SEO on a title like that ain't gonna work out so well.
You'll see.
It is Star Wars Day, but more importantly, it's also Owen Carter's birthday.
Hey.
Nick Hamilton's birthday.
Oh, maybe I'll
Published author Nicholas
Published.
Hamilton.
That's right. That's right.
Everybody
Are you-
dropping cookbooks and drink books these days.
Do you guys get invited to his little thing that's gonna happen here? I'll send you an invite.
No.
I'll send you an invite.
No, I don't.
He's doing a little book tour,
He's doing a little tour. Yeah.
and he's gonna be here, and there's gonna be a little party.
Speaking of sexy, sexy men, that Nicholas Hamilton.
Dude, I keep telling him this, and I don't know, maybe you guys need to see it, but let me pull up an image here of like Nick Hamilton is, yeah, definitely handsome, talented, and I wish I could suck the bone marrow out of his thigh bone so I could have a little bit of that
It's visceral.
that youth.
Good Lord.
That's where you get the stem cells,
Ugh.
so we can be a little younger.
Oh, I want some of his stem cells.
I just his stem cells were so good, dude. So, have you guys ever seen The Man Who Fell to Earth?
No.
It's it's kind of a bizarre
Old school.
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's David Bowie. It's like an old David Bowie.
You about to tell us he looks like a young Bowie?
Yes, I am about to tell you that. And I've been telling him this. I said, dude, when I watched that movie, I could see you in the remake of it. And I could see it being amazing. And I could see you, Nick Hamilton. I was talking to him at the time, not you, Elliott, or you, Joe. I said I could see you, Nick Hamilton, playing a young Bowie in like a Bowie biopic, even.
Ooh, Bowie biopic?
Bowie Bio Man.
Ooh.
And
Bad Bowie bio.
and I need to pull up. I'm trying to do a little. I want to do a little side by side here if I can. I don't know if I'm actually able to make that happen, but I will do this. I'm gonna open this image here of Bowie. I want to share it with you guys. Remember when I used to pull up like like pornographic images whenever this would happen?
Yeah, we all remember when you used to do that.
So here we go. So here's Bowie.
This little Bowie.
This is Bowie from The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Mm-hmm. With his heterochromia.
And here's Nick Hamilton.
Okay, there's a little Bowie there.
Okay. So tell me.
He looks like that kid from It.
Well, I've got news for you. Don't you think he could pull this off?
I actually don't really see it, Steve. I think that they look similar enough that he could pull it off, but I don't see anything strikingly similar.
But what I'm saying is if
I hate to be that guy, though. I hate when you say these two people look the same and someone goes, no, they don't. Because where do you go with that? Where do you go with that conversation?
It's kind of like the same level as like a Taron Egerton playing Elton John. Like,
but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we were going to cast a young Bowie, a Man Who Fell to Earth Bowie, we got to look through who's already out there, who's an actor, who's doing stuff, who's making movies and is a good actor and has the chops.
Sorry, so they're giving it to Timothée. Sorry, it's for Timothée.
God damn it. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
just give every famous musician role to Timothée Chalamet. Have him play all four Beatles.
Oh my God, somebody's going to do that. There will be a movie someday where some actor is going to play all four of the Beatles.
Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton, young Tilda Swinton could have been Bowie.
Well, I think Nicholas Hamilton could play a young Tilda Swinton.
Young Nick Hamilton can play Tilda Swinton. I was thinking because Tilda Swinton has a nice little
Irish river dance that you're doing. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, look, and that's the beauty of how we see the world, right? Is that some people see someone and go like, wow, that person looks exactly like this person. But someone standing next to you would be like, no, they fucking don't, you idiot moron.
I see. It is like one of those things where it's like, just say they do, like, just like, yeah.
Yeah, what's the point?
Ruin their day.
What's the point? I mean,
because when someone says no, you're like, I guess I'm an idiot. Like,
well, you know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like when someone brings a new girlfriend around or something in your friend group and you're like, her?
Yeah, egg?
And they're like, yeah. You're like, egg? And then they're like, gosh, she's so beautiful and I love her so much. And you're like, really?
Shut up.
You do? You do?
Beautiful, huh? All right. And you're just like, but listen, what matters more is the happiness in their hearts.
You're happy?
Are you happy? Then then good.
I
And then
guess.
they go like, dude, isn't my girlfriend so fucking hot, dude? And you're like, it's not my type. What do you say to that when someone's like,
Yeah.
because then you could tell what kind of person they're attracted to, and you're like, well, this person has a history of being with people that kind of look like this.
Pete
and
Holmes
I have no interest in people that look like that.
Pete Holmes has a bit about this, about meeting his friends' girlfriends, and it's just someone coming up to you and being like, "This is what I'm attracted to. This is what I like to have sex with." And you have to be like, "Okay, this is what you like to have sex with."
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, I've noticed, by the way, that based on where the hinges are on that door, the guitar seems to be in danger of getting hit. Should anyone open it?
Yeah, and actually, I was streaming the other day, and someone said that it was upsetting to them that how close that guitar was to that door. But I'm actually happy to announce that is a closet door.
I figured, since it was there, I was like, oh, that must be a closet door. But even still, what if you need to get in there real quick?
I just moved the guitar out of the way.
Or what if Closet Pete wants to come out?
Right.
Well,
he's related to Big
We
Bear
have a
Benny.
schedule, and it's very tight, and it's locked in. So, what's that? I said stay in. I'm doing the podcast. No, I said we're gonna call it Dynamicer Banterer.
Son of a bitch!
I think just dynamic or banter is funny.
Banterer. Dynamicer Banterer.
Because there's something upsetting about the way dynamicer looks if you visualize it.
I know, exactly.
Dynamicer.
That's what I'm saying. No one wants to see that word. No one wants to see. No one wants to see your girlfriend.
It's a podcast. They just have to hear it. Okay, it's going to be awesome.
Oh, I actually have an apology to Elliott really quick, if that's okay, if we have time.
Yeah.
I wanted to apologize to Elliott, and because last time we did the show, I said that I was on my way to see Sinners.
Yeah.
And the movie Sinners, and yeah, exactly. You asked me to text you and say, let me know if it's too scary or if it's too intense. And guess what? What ended up happening was we went to the theater, and all the showings were sold out. Still,
Whoa,
it was his second weekend. And how crazy was that?
So I saw it.
And so I also did too, finally yesterday.
Nice. I saw it on Friday, I believe.
Dude, 3 times a charm for me for some reason.
Loved it.
Loved it. Great.
Really, really loved it.
I highly enjoyed it.
Okay.
But it was
that makes sense. You'll temper your reviews. You have more of a I was blown away. I was like, good.
I wanted to be blown away.
You weren't quite blown away?
Well, I want to say that Joe, you haven't seen it, but about it.
But you guys can talk about it.
Do you know anything about it?
No, it's fine though.
Man, I think because here's the thing. There's something about that movie that if you don't know, it enhances the experience probably quite a bit.
Did you know something going in? I
knew something going in because some piece of shit decided to be like, I saw the movie and let me tell you, blah, 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 blah.
Nicholas Hamilton, just a monster.
Nice.
Piece of shit. Even though it's his birthday today. It is his birthday today.
Well, you said Nick and I said Owen, Joe. That's pretty good.
Whoa,
Nick,
look at that.
Both birthday boys. Yeah, that's nice. But yeah, there was a pretty intense thing spoiled for me. And
can you tell me what it is without spoiling the movie for people?
Well, it's something that happens like once because it isn't quite clear what's happening until someone explicitly says it. They say what they think this is, what they think those people are.
Oh, well, I knew about the people. I knew.
That was still an enjoyable thing for you, knowing what it was going in.
Yeah, I knew it had something to do with a popular motif.
Okay, so I didn't.
An archetype that's common to particular genre.
But my friends who saw it,
they didn't know that it was.
They didn't know, and they were like blown away. They were like, I cried, I laughed, I was on the edge of my seat, and I was like, "Fuck, I need that experience," because it's been a minute since. I think, Joe, you can come back.
Am I good? Right.
You can come back.
I literally heard nothing. That was great.
We weren't really even spoiling anything. But there are some very amazing visual moments in that movie. But
What do you think the movie's about, Joe?
Black vampires.
And there we go.
There you go.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
That's why we were trying so hard not to spoil.
Black vampires and Tommy guns.
It's been out for a while, but my thing was like, I fucking really enjoyed it.
I knew it going in, and I loved it.
I knew it going in, and I was bummed out. I knew it going in. I'm jealous of the people that didn't know.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty cool reveal, but I feel like it's kind of telegrammed pretty early on.
Are we talking about black vampires?
But the opening, the opening alluded to all sorts of different legends of all sorts of different things.
Black mummies,
and they
black creature of the Black Lagoon.
White thumbs up in the middle of the Zoom.
Black Frankenstein's. Black Lagoon, black creature from the White Lagoon. I really enjoy. Yeah, so they kind of like didn't really specifically say it, and then there was that moment where someone comes running in and the sun is happening, and they're kind of crisping up a little bit, and I was like, oh well, that could allude to what that is, but because they were talking about all these different like creatures in cultures, I wasn't quite sure. Like, and then there's that moment where one of the characters just says it, and it seems like it's a reveal moment.
I'm a black vampire. Tommy gun.
But I enjoyed. I thought fucking Michael B. Jordan is incredible. The dude's
That's another beautiful man.
There's one scene in it where I was like, okay, this movie's awesome. All right. Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Did you guys hear about the deal Coogler got on that movie?
Yeah, how he got like a percentage and he gets to own it. I guess because it's like partially his family's history or story.
After 25 years, complete ownership goes back to him. I think it's complete. I don't know. I don't want to say that.
And like he got a back end deal, right? Like some crazy percentage of gross profit.
And it's printing money. It like printed money, basically.
Yeah. I saw Thunderbolts.
I heard that was just okay.
It is there's no reason to see it on the big screen, because you can tell that like the Marvel and Disney were like, we're not going to pay a lot of money for these movies anymore, so it's not really big. It's like
They're
reason
saving all their money for Robert Downey Jr. and his jet.
Probably, but that being said, it's a very verbal movie. It's more talking, I think, than anything else, but it's enjoyable. Like, there's just a bunch of charismatic people being charismatic, and it's a little bit kind of on the head for the times. It's basically therapy. It's all therapy and talking about the bad guy is depression. and I'm not joking.
Oh boy.
Not joking. So
between that and Andor, I feel like
it's not big, but it's worth watching. I'll give it that.
Is
everybody? Sure, I did a YouTube video called "Hi, My Name Is Depression" like 15 years ago, so I'm pretty sure they stole
probably
the idea of personifying.
Dude, I think you got a case here.
I'm pretty sure after 25 years, the rights of Thunderbolts goes back to you.
I think you're right, Joe.
Does it suffer from that? Like, everyone is a quippy, hilarious Tony Stark type, like sarcastic person.
I would say that it is somewhat quippy, but it's made to be that way because it's a little bit more Suicide Squad-y, because it's all like,
I hear it's Marvel's Suicide
It's
Squad.
like all the loser characters, but I will say quite the star turn for old Wyatt Russell.
I love it.
Russell's son.
I like Wyatt Russell.
Who is he like got all the charisma DNA from his parents, but he didn't get the looks. He is the least like star-looking future star I've ever seen. He sounds and he acts and he's charismatic like an A-list star, but man, does he just look like the dude that works at Trader Joe's.
Really?
What did we see? What did I see him in where he was like
Black Mirror?
Yeah, but there was like a show where he was like a football player, like a college football.
Everybody Wants Some. He was in Everybody Wants Some, which was Dazed and Confused director. What the hell's his name?
Oh yeah, not Soderbergh.
Anyways,
Linklater.
Schumacher,
it was
Anderson.
his follow-up. It was his college baseball movie.
Was he in
I
that?
don't think I watched that.
Was he in that Godzilla show that was like on
Yeah,
Apple? For a
I think
second?
so.
That was like super boring.
Yep.
What
He's good,
was
though.
it? Oh, it was 22 Jump Street. It was 22 Jump Street. Remember the sequel?
He's in that?
Yeah, he's like he ends up being the guy that Channing Tatum is like becomes really close friends
That's right.
with.
Yes.
Because
yes,
they're
yes.
both bros and Jonah Hill gets jealous.
Yep.
Like Wyatt Russell was perfect in that role because he seems like a college football player that's just like a party guy that you just see working at some regular store and be like, hey, that guy's kind of handsome, but that's about it. He's not. I don't see this guy starring in movies, but he's amazing.
I think we talk about in terms of comedy enough how good the Jump Street movies are.
They're good, man.
They are next level comedy, and they make me, along with his choice to do what's the end of the world one called? This is the end. This is the end.
Oh yeah.
Channing Tatum is a legitimately funny actor.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got great chops, and he's so funny in those movies.
I find him funnier than Ryan Reynolds.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine. I think Ryan Reynolds is so put on and difficult to listen to these days.
Yeah. Like I think he's trying too hard, and Channing Tatum feels more natural to me.
Yeah, he's definitely Ryan Reynolds he's got that like Jay-Z kind of thing where I think you make so much money and you become so successful that you just put out, or like the Jay-Z or Taylor Swift maybe is a better example where like you have your brand and it's so separated that I don't see any life in his eyes when he does these like quippy things anymore.
Yeah.
Like, are you there? Like, I think he's just so unfathomably rich that he's just like doing his little shtick and then he's going to go get on his jet.
Yeah. And I also
but whatever. I still don't mind him. I can't really hate the guy. He's too likable.
Yeah, I think the difference is that we know what we're getting from a Ryan Reynolds. There isn't like, it's been a long time since he tried to do the turn where he gives you something different and unexpected. Channing Tatum, like he was the hot dancing possible action star guy, and then he started doing comedies and was like, "Holy crap, you're really funny! Like this is good." I didn't expect that.
And then there's like this picture, and it's got all the Avengers Doomsday cast in it. It's a recent one, and it's got like Robert Downey Jr. and like who's the guy that's the new Captain America?
Anthony Mackie,
and it's got all these. It's got all the like. I think even Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth's in there, and then you see Channing Tatum in there amongst them, and you just feel this feeling of this guy has wanted this for his whole life. He's wanted to be up there with these huge A-list stars, getting to play a character that he's always wanted to play, that fucking Gambit character, and the fact that he's going to be Gambit in this Avengers movie is so rad. Like, you can feel that he earned that spot. You know what I mean?
I'm excited to see him as Gambit again. I thought that was hands down the best part of that.
I know, and everyone's like hating on it.
Really?
I'm gonna make a name for myself.
I mean, the accent is a little bad.
Yeah, but you know what? I've heard worse.
Name of myself.
It's pretty bad.
Now he's gonna get that fucking crazy dialect coach shit.
Hopefully,
I hope not. I hope he keeps exactly as. I think it's so funny.
I think he also suffers from like he should have got the role 10 years ago.
Yes,
about this before. Elliott, he's got old man fat actor head now.
Yes, he does.
So,
yeah,
he's Gambit got in the comics. Old man head.
Gambit in the comics has a very skinny face. It's very chiseled. It's like more like John Hamm's shape, but Channing Tatum
when he's
looks
in
like
that,
he got stung by a bee.
Like a Lego head.
Yeah. When you see him in that like Gambit like head piece, you're like, it's like too thick. But you can't make his head smaller, you know?
They're gonna have to put him in a vice grip for a couple months before he films.
I can't believe they cast Channing Tatum as Gambit because now I can't jack off to the computer version of Gambit that I know.
I know. His face is too small.
His face is too small. His head's too big.
Small. His head too big. Head too big. It'll be interesting to see if they try to keep him as as Marvel quippy comic relief or try to make him do like a serious turn in it, because being introduced in such a comedic way in such a funny dumb action movie, I think will be hard to change the expectation going into something a little bit more serious.
Yeah, for sure.
Is
Let's
Doomsday
cut
supposed
to
to
a
be
clip.
serious?
I think
What?
so. Probably.
Let's cut to a clip.
What?
Jamie,
Jamie, cut to
how
a clip.
funny was it to hear Malcolm Gladwell talk about the SourceFed office? Can we talk about that?
So I didn't watch that. Can you give us a TLDR?
I mean, I didn't listen to it. It just was Malcolm Gladwell, who does revisionist history as a podcast.
Great
and
podcast, by the way.
Yeah, really fun. And he did this thing where if you know of where like Joe Rogan isn't there anymore, but it's the same office as SourceFed because he took over. And so it's just Malcolm Gladwell describing the size of an airplane hangar sized studio that he went to in the suburbs of Los Angeles, where he can't say where exactly it was because he had to sign an NDA, and it brought back all these memories of walking into that.
Just a
building.
cavernous building with a bunch of bros on testosterone.
Yeah.
At one point, it was like too much room, and then at another point, it was not enough room anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep,
I remember walking through there the first couple of times I got brought into that building, and I was like, there's so much room in here, and there's only one room they're using, pretty much.
Anyway.
Nice.
That's
good.
Do you guys want to do a quick round of
Joe just vomits. Just like I'm tired, you guys. I got poop too.
Aw.
I might get a little bit of a headache.
why?
And my arm hurts right here.
Let's all go. Let's start. I went to the doctor and I was like, "Hey, I got this lump on my thigh," and I was like, "I don't think it's anything." And he like looks at it for 2 seconds and he's like, "I think you're fine." He's like, "If he was like, however, where it is, it might start bothering you." And boy, I tell you, was he right? And so now I have this like lump that is like on my hip that just gets bruised.
Bummer.
And,
so you bonk it on everything. Let's
and
have a
bonk
look.
it on everything. You want to see it?
He's really, yeah, sure. Show us.
That little red guy? Aw. Look at that guy.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks, actually.
Will you draw a face on it?
That's a good idea.
But it's nothing? What is that?
Was he like, this is an old man fatty patch?
Yeah, what is that? What do you think that is?
Is it old man fatty patch?
Yeah, I think so. Sorry, my dad was texting me. He was like crickets, and then I was like, oh, I forgot to reply to him. But he texted me about the age of the Doge members. I don't know what to say to that.
They're 19.
They're young. Yeah.
They're not even able to drink.
I thought they were at least like 22, 23.
Maybe they're around there. Whatever. They're all fucking nightmare people.
I'm going to say, Joe said they're all fucking nightmare people.
Well, they're certainly not the kind of people you want in those roles.
No.
Those fake roles that don't exist.
Dude, the Andor shit, that's like creepily what's happening in the world.
I know. They really
it's crazy.
And I was thinking about the criticism of, like, because sometimes I'll be like, all right, we get it, like it's pretty on the nose with that show, but then I was like, Star Wars has always been pretty on the nose with this stuff, so I can't really, it's like a space opera.
The problem with what Andor is doing is the show in general is that it is heightening
black vampires.
It is heightening the drama and the well written potential for the story of Star Wars. But as soon as you're out of Andor and then you go into Rogue One, you're like, okay, this is tonally still similar. And then you get into A New Hope and you're like, oh, what's all this baby shit? Like, Andor was like an adult analysis of the nuance and the gray area of trying to do the right thing for the side that you believe in. and it's so nuanced and like well done. And then all the rest of the movies are like Misa gonna poo poo on the Tatooine, Misa Jar Jar Banks. You know what I mean? Like it's like whatever they're doing is making the rest of the stuff not as good.
Yeah. I think it's the only good Star Wars thing.
It is maybe.
Like I really don't know of any
is.
other Star Wars thing besides like Rogue One and Andor that I would regularly go back and watch. I almost turned on episode 3 the other night because
bad.
Grace was just chilling and like I went to I was like, why am I doing this? Like I don't care.
They're not great.
Andor.
They're hard watches.
And it's crazy that it like made, didn't you say it made like $4 trillion in the movie theater, like coming back?
Oh yeah, episode 3 made 25 million extra dollars.
The thing that I've accepted about the prequels is that like those are bad movies and that's fine. But the reason why people love the people that love them so much love them is because there's 740 episodes of a cartoon show that like fixes the things wrong with the prequels. And everybody now has this association that the cartoon stuff is connected to the movie stuff and it was all planned and all worked on in conjunction with George Lucas's ideas and shit, which is just not true. And so I think what they're doing with like Ahsoka and Mandalorian and these like new shows is that they're going to try to course correct the problems with the new movies the way that they did with the prequel movies. And we're going to slam into a new timeline where people love the sequel Star Wars movies because the shows fixed them. Just like the Clone Wars fixed the prequels for a lot of these people growing up.
Deep thought experiment. Elliott, you as well. How upset or how interested or how both would you be if they were just like, you know what? We're remaking New Hope through Jedi. New cast, same story, but updated. Guest directors, Rian Johnson's doing one. Insert, 3 different directors.
Taika Waititi.
Would you be pissed or would you be interested? They're taking it seriously. Just updating it for today's audience.
So, like to
Timothée Chalamet is Han Solo.
God damn it! Anya Taylor-Joy is Princess Leia.
Probably.
Yeah. Jack Black is Jabba the Hutt. I wouldn't really. I would be like, all right.
But what are they doing that for? Are they doing it to connect it to the TV shows, or you're saying
actually they're going to do 1 through 6, and they're just trying to make them updated? And we remake movies now, man, and you have some qualms about how they were done before, and even the first original 3 through 6, 4 through 6 seem kind of just archaic now, and now studios want to get that extra cash, and people are going to go, and they feel like they have a chance to update it visually for a modern audience.
I thought it was so. I was thinking when I was watching Andor recently, and they have a very big puppet piece, and I was like, it's so crazy that we all went through this like span of several years where George Lucas was like, computer animation is the greatest, most realistic special effects thing in the world. And he just computer animated the crap out of all of those movies. And I think I always thought it looked like garbage. Mm-hmm. And he seemed deluded in his thinking that this was going to be some kind of impressive looking thing. It looked like a cartoon and it was terrible.
Yeah.
That's a separate to what you're saying.
Even back then it did.
Yeah.
Even when it came out in theaters, you're like, ew.
I remember why does Jurassic Park look so much better?
Yeah.
Well, because it's like there is an interesting analysis of that the Corridor Digital guys did, I think. And it has a lot to do with lighting and a lot to do with like when you don't have them in like broad daylight. Like, because if you look at that Brontosaurus scene or the Dilophosaurus, whatever those big Brontosaurus looking things in the beginning.
Yeah.
Of Jurassic Park. If you look at that scene again you're like, like so let me.
Yeah, that
But
is
all the
like
T-Rex stuff in the rain and the
in the rain and
dark
dark.
looks
Yeah.
so fucking good, and I think the lighting has a lot to do with
Yeah.
that. Um, and it is interesting, Elliot, that you bring up that the prequels are such a computer animation like overload. And but you have to remember that George Lucas came from a time when it was like, you couldn't use computers at all, and it was
Mhm.
all practical shit. And so it must have been really exciting for him to be like, now I can do all this shit I couldn't do in the 70s and the 80s. And
100%. Yeah.
and I get that part. But now we've come all full circle to, well, shit, the puppet stuff just fucking looks better because it reacts better to the lighting on the set and people can see something they can interact with. And so it's interesting that it's come back around to like a more of a blend, a subtle blend of the two things.
I
Yeah.
think there's something to just being like just tactile and real. It's the whole uncanny valley thing. At the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, it's just even if it's perfect, like the special effects, perfect computer graphics, it's still, even though you're there, you have the suspension of belief with like the puppets and things that are more practical. You're watching a movie, and I think your brain is like accepting that as better because it's not
Mhm.
like a wool over the eyes thing. It's just like, hey, this we're telling a story. This is how we do it, and it feels more real. And because I know it's real, and it doesn't feel like they're trying to like get it past me, it just always feels better than even really good computer animation. Because the
Yeah.
Absolutely.
best computer animation is the type that you don't even fucking notice, anyways,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Like I really like the stuff they do with that big giant screen that they have. Like I know a lot of people go like, "Oh, I can tell when they're using that or whatever," but it's like, no, you can't. But
That's
it's like,
what I was talking to Grace last night at one scenes in Andor, and I was like, "Look at these." I was like, "Is that a set?" Like, and then I was like,
I
"No,
know, it's
they're
so hard
using
to
one of the big."
tell.
And she was like, "I think that's a real." I was like, "They did not build a real city. Like, that's not."
It's not a
Right,
city, Grace.
And she's
right.
like, "You can't tell me that's not real."
But
Yeah.
that's the thing. My girlfriend was asking that too. She was like, "What is a set
Women.
in this shot, and what is not?" I know women. It's like, quit thinking outside of the little
Stop
room.
thinking.
Just
You know,
put the blinders back on, and shut your mouth. When I
The
was young, we didn't
blinders back
question it. Can I tell you guys I have a really quick new pet peeve with sci-fi stuff that have big creatures? Like, because you were mentioning, Elliot, there's big creatures in Andor, and you see all sorts of puppet guys and stuff. And there's whole scenes where there's like a big creature in the room, and they're like talking to them like as if it's just like another human in there. And I love that. I've always loved it's kind of like the Muppet thing in the Muppet movie. The Muppets exist in the real world, and no one's like, oh, a puppet, or like, oh, a frog. They're just like, hey, look, there's a frog, or look, there's a bear, or they just talk to them like a person. And I've always loved that kind of blending of like the fantastical with our reality. And so, but lately I've been noticing that in new shows, there's like these big creatures that are cool puppets, but they're like a member of the team that with these other gruff guys that
Yeah.
are just like, let's go, let's do this. We got shit to do. But whenever they talk to the big monster guy, it always has like a I talk like this guy voice. And I'm like, what if we didn't do that? What if we just gave a big monster puppet guy like a regular guy voice? Like, thank you, sir. I'm on my way. Let's do this. It would just feel more real to me, I guess. Like, do all these big guys have to have like oh, I'm a big guy? Like, they just go with the first choice the actor does with the voice and the
Dude,
mask?
this is honestly when people say pet peeves a lot, they will say something that's universally annoying. This might be the truest pet peeve because I'm like, this is the most specific complaint I've ever heard.
Because like, so
No,
for
I could
example,
give a shit.
I know no one. I know no one cares or thinks about it. But
Yeah.
but can I use another thing as an example that maybe you guys remember being kind of fun and good? Do you remember in the Thor Ragnarok, or which Thor was it with that everybody loves? That's all like,
Yeah, Ragnarok.
talking about
Ragnarok?
Taika Waititi's character.
Yeah. Taika's big rock
Yeah,
guy.
very gentle voice.
Yeah,
but
he's
big.
it's just his voice in there, and it made that character so much more interesting, than if they had gone like, oh, I'm big rock, I talk in broken English guy voice, and like I'm,
Groot,
I kind of like,
basically.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like I
But I
kinda
think it
like.
stood out like because it was different. If every weird looking creature just sounded like Dave,
Yeah.
it's also weird and off putting.
Okay, I'm gonna do a video that takes like the most. I'm gonna take the top big creature guys, and I'm gonna replace their voice with like a regular voice,
Okay.
and then we'll see if that's good.
I'm sure you can do one of those AI things where you can make like Joe Rogan.
Where you just change the yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a really funny thing to bother you. It's just been getting under your skin for a while.
Yeah, recently, ever since I started doing heroin.
Yeah, that'll do it. Gets a little itchy. Hot under the collar.
It's my brain is itchy and I can't get in there.
The first video he's gonna do is the T-Rex in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I tried going through my nose to itch my brain and it hurt too much. So
yeah.
I couldn't. And the itch is over here. And I'm like, how do I get there?
You're going the wrong way.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up, guys.
Okay. Bye.